Open the meeting for the December 1st, 2021 Planning Commission, City of Tucson Planning Commission. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's City of Tucson Planning Commission meeting. My name is Chuck Martin and I am the chair of the commission. The responsibilities of this body are to advise the mayor and council and the Planning and Development Services Department on the adoption of long-range plans, policies, specific plans, and regulations that affect land use and development. Will staff call roll, please?
Yes, Chair Martin.
Here.
Commissioner Gast. Absent. Commissioner Fink.
Here.
Commissioner Cassidy. Absent. Commissioner McBride Olson.
Sorry.
She did raise her hand, so
Unmute.
she's present.
Oh, there I am.
Oh, there
Yeah,
she goes.
Unmute.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Present. Commissioner Pafford.
Here.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Saylor Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Willett.
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz-Pino. I see him there.
Here.
All right. Excellent. Commissioner Lucia
Here.
and Commissioner Schwartz.
Here.
Excellent. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Daniel. I'd just like to take a minute to thank Mark for his 8 years on the commission. And the examples he gave to me on, how to be a commissioner. It's been a real learning experience, and I want to thank you for your service to the city.
Well, thank you, Chuck. That was very nice of you.
Next item is item number 2, approval of the legal action report for November 3rd, 2021. I'd entertain a motion for approval of the legal action report.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Thomas.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. Hearing none. Item passes. Item 3 is public hearing concurrent plan for amendment and rezoning for Santa Cruz area plan. Once again, based on a conflict, I have to recuse myself. I'll be listening on the phone, and I'll come back when you've completed this item. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Chair Martin. Once again, we would, because we are now without a chair or vice chair, we do request that we would need to suspend the rules and appoint an acting chair. And last time it was Commissioner Pafford, who is raising his hand currently.
At this time, I would like to nominate Commissioner McBride Olson to.
You rat. Okay. Yeah, it's been a while, so I don't really remember the Robert's Rules of Order, but I'm happy to do it if you want.
So, well, Commissioner McBride Olson, we're happy to help you out as things
Thank
come
you.
along.
Thank you.
Course.
Okay. Well, do we start with the presentation and then open the public meeting?
Yeah, so we start with a presentation of the from staff and then the applicant, and then open it up for the public hearing.
Okay. All right. So can we have the presentation, please?
Sure. This is John Beal from the Plan Development Services. Let me share my screen. So Dan, when I hit the it says it's disabled share, is it and I just hit OK?
Hold on one second here. Now try.
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Not yet. There may be a little button in your bottom right that you may have to hit to confirm which one. Try that.
Well, actually, I did confirm the screen. Oh, perfect. Okay. Is that on now, Dan?
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, good evening, commission members, Planning Commission. Tonight's item is the plan amendment for Center Point Valencia. And it's a concurrent plan amendment regarding proposed amendment to the Santa Cruz area plan. The site location is at Valencia Road and Midvale Park. And Valencia Road is a designated gateway arterial. It's within the Santa Cruz area plan. The site is currently zoned C1 and O3, and the amendment site area is approximately 4.88 acres. It's vacant, and it's the northern 1.7 acres, which is being proposed to be rezoned. But the amendment is for the full 4.88 acres. What we heard from the Planning Commission on the meeting, the study session on 11/3 was had to do about some questions regarding gateway routes and what the sort of the plans and the Unified Development Code calls out. Gateway route, as you know, is defined as a street or parkway that is a heavily traveled entrance to and through the city. The UDC provides standards for landscaping, signage, setbacks. It's very specific that billboards are not permitted within 400 feet of designated gateway routes, and utilities are required to be underground. And so that's the main standards and regulations that we have for the gateway. And this current site, this site next to it has gone through the gateway, and it will be through the development plan. We'll go through that way and have to meet any standards. The other question that we heard had to do with that Commissioner Fink brought up about sustainability and climate change and policies in Plan Tucson, and what the sort of the city's policies are for a drive-through. While the UDC does restrict a drive-through use in certain zones, it prohibited in O1, O2, and O3, the office zones. Is prohibited in the neighborhood commercial zone, and there's only one drive-through permitted or lane for commercial and retail uses in the C1 zone. However, at this time, neither Plan Tucson or the land use plans nor UDC prohibit a drive-through land use. That was something that, as the Plan Tucson might be updated, maybe Mayor and Council might provide some direction on that. The existing, again, zoning, as I mentioned, is a split zoning of O3 and C2. There's a little PAL or access lane that's actually in the C2 that's shared for both the commercial development adjacent to the west and the subject site. Surrounding zonings are pretty much C1, commercial, and C2. There's industrial uses to the south and southwest, and there are some office uses immediately adjacent. Plan Tucson supports new development, encourages new services and amenities that contribute further to neighborhood stability. This site is called out in the existing neighborhoods building block. It supports community, commercial, and office uses located at the intersections of arterial streets, taking into consideration for traffic safety and any kind of congestion issues. It also supports infill and redevelopment projects that reflect sensitivity to the site and neighborhood conditions and adhere to relevant site and architectural design guidelines. The policy direction, again, is the major streets and routes plan. It calls the project site located on Valencia Road, which is a designated arterial roadway. The Santa Cruz area plan really extends a long way along, actually along the Santa Cruz, and it provides a lot of policy direction, not used for adjacent land uses, but also for some of the river trails and riding areas. The goal of the plan is to guide future development while stabilizing and improving adjacent neighborhoods. This particular site is in the Santa Cruz area plan and one of their key parcel 4. So they have different areas that they designate. And this is in key parcel 4 for the land use. And the map is calling out office and high density residential on this site. The applicant's request is the proposed plan amendment to change the whole 4.88 acres in order to allow some commercial uses on this site for future rezonings, and particularly the one for the 1.7 acres for the project. And the proposal is to remove to change the map from office high density residential to commercial. And then that way it would allow the change, which the needed zoning to C2. There have been previous land use actions in this area, and more specifically for the parcel adjacent to the proposed amendment site. There was a plan amendment in 1994, which authorized the same site to allow commercial, or not, but the adjacent site to allow commercial uses. And again, they made a map change from office and high density residential to commercial. Then there was a rezoning which was authorized on this site for C1 and for a convenience store and a gas station. And then the rezoning took place again in 2011 as the Circle K store was expanding their convenience store and their pumps on the site, and they needed C2 zoning. As to date, staff has received 2 letters from the public. One letter is from the Midvale Park Neighborhood Association that's supporting the amendment and the project as a benefit in the Midvale Park neighborhood, calling out that will help stabilize the neighborhood. We also received a letter from Sunnyside Neighborhood Association supporting the amendment, but with that there's inclusion of language actually in the rezoning portion of this process, that the rezoning preliminary development plan should include a note that alcoholic beverage sales will be limited to on-site premises consumption only and not sold through the drive-through, with the understanding that any future change to the PDP would require mayor and council approval through a public process. So this can be something that can be added during the rezoning as part of the preliminary development plan. And when we look at these kind of things, any changes to the preliminary development plan as a major change will go back to mayor and council as a public hearing. In summary, the proposal is consistent with Plan Tucson. It's consistent with previous amendments to the Santa Cruz Area Plan Key Parcel 4 Land Use Map 3. It's consistent with the 2 previous rezonings in this area that are immediately adjacent to the parcel that also realized they needed commercial zoning. The site is located by 2 designated arterial routes, which are appropriate, and this is appropriate location for commercial use. And both the proposed commercial land use and the rezoning to C2 are consistent with the development pattern in the area and adjacent to the amendment and rezoning sites. The rezoning process would further, as I mentioned, address concerns regarding compatible land uses as well as compliance with applicable policy direction. Staff recommendation to the Planning Commission is to approve a motion to forward the proposed plan amendment to the mayor and council to change land use map 3 key parcel 4 of the Santa Cruz area plan. Actually, this really should be to change the 4.88 acres of the project site from office high density residential to commercial. This would support the applicant's concurrent request for a rezoning from O3 to C2 to develop a car wash and a drive-through restaurant. Zoning examiner public hearing to consider the rezoning request is scheduled for December 16th, 2021. And that concludes staff's report at this time. I know that the applicant is here for any, they can make a presentation, but if the planning commission has any questions, I can address those.
Do any commissioners have any comments or questions?
Okay.
In that case, can we have the applicant's presentation?
Yes, good evening. This is Carrie Sylvan with Lazarus and Sylvan. I am looking to share. Is my screen sharing? Great.
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening. Happy Hanukkah to those who are celebrating Hanukkah, and Mark Mazel Tov on fulfilling 2 years of a term on the Planning Commission. I'm not sure how you feel about me being the only presentation on your last night, but here we go. So thank you all for taking the time with this. I know this is the same presentation I went through in the study session. I'm gonna just give you a little bit of update. I'm gonna run through it pretty quickly, and then obviously if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'm not giving you an agenda. You all know where the location is. Staff's already gone through this. The green area is the plan amendment. It's the just under 5 acres. The rezoning area is the kind of pinkish red, whatever color it's coming through on your computers in your location. As staff already indicated, most of the area around here is commercial. There is some office directly next door to us. It's a medical office. But it's mostly commercial and industrial, and some industrial business. Current zoning staff has already gone through. The main reason we're here is to amend just the map for the Santa Cruz area plan. So there are no policies within the Santa Cruz area plan that we need to amend for this. It's just to take it from an office high density residential to also permit commercial, which, as staff has indicated, has happened over the years along Valencia Road. And I know that Yolanda Herrera is here as well. I saw her in the participants and is intimately familiar with those kinds of amendments and what's happened with the Santa Cruz area plan over the years as a local resident. So our request is to take that 5 acres that's in front of you and modify, again, just the map. Normally, the Planning Commission doesn't see the preliminary development plans because those are really for the rezoning, but they are running concurrently, so we wanted to share it. As noted, we've worked very closely with Yolanda Herrera as well on some notes on the plan that actually is on the PDP that's now on your website. It's also going to be the rezoning PDP, preliminary development plan, that acknowledges that alcoholic beverage use on the restaurant area. This is the process that we went through. I think we are the first concurrent process. It's gone pretty smoothly. Actually, our neighborhood meeting was great. I think I mentioned this at the study session. We had already reached out to Mr. Miller and Ms. Herrera, who are the neighborhood leaders in the area, and they requested that we reach out to TPD and ask them to come to the neighborhood meeting. So as it turned out, it was the applicant, the developer, and TPD at the meeting. So, and I apologize, Clint Jameson is also here as the developer with Centerpoint Development, who's our client. So our neighborhood meeting turned into a really good brainstorming discussion about how to make sure we make the site safe, and some suggestions from TPD, and opened up that dialogue. We came to you for the study session. You put it on for public hearing for tonight. We will be going to the zoning examiner on the 16th, and the public hearing, these two applications will come together in February, probably February 8th, for the plan amendment and the rezoning. I want to thank both Yolanda Herrera and Joe Miller for helping, for opening the dialogue, being very open and honest Yolanda and I think, have worked together for almost 25 years on various projects on the south side. And we both know what her major issue is, which is the alcohol sales. So we were able to work through that issue and really appreciate the open dialogue with her as well. And as I mentioned before, the preliminary development plan staff indicated that her support, that neighborhood support, is conditioned upon some notes on the preliminary development plan for the rezoning, and those have been added. So we'll be highlighting those at our December 16th as well. So we respectfully request your recommendation to approve the plan amendment for the just under 5 acres from high density residential office to commercial. And I am happy to answer any questions that I can answer for you.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for the applicant? Comments? Okay. And were there any other presentations, or are we ready to open the public hearing?
I believe those are all the presentations.
Okay, thank
I
you.
think you're ready.
Then I propose that we open the public hearing for the concurrent plan amendment for the Santa Cruz area plan. Are there any speakers?
Acting Chair Commissioner McBride Olson. We have not had anybody request to speak. So I do not believe there's anyone here to speak this evening.
Okay. Commissioner Pafford?
Are we free to make a motion to open for public hearing at this time?
Oh, I'm sorry.
If
Yes.
so, I so move.
You.
Great,
And I will
Third.
second that. This is Commissioner Willett.
thank you. Okay, so with no one requesting to speak, is there any discussion that commissioners would like to have about this? Or would anyone like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, thank you.
This is Commissioner Willett. I'll second to close the public hearing.
Thank you.
And I'd like to make a motion, if nobody has an objection, to move this to the zoning examiner for approval. I'm not sure the right way to say it. I'd like to move this forward to mayor and council on the basis that this is an appropriate use for this area.
Thank you.
And this is Commissioner Willett, and I'll second that one again.
Thank you. Do we do a roll call vote, or
No,
all in favor say aye?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, looks like it's universal, and based on that, looks like we have approval to move this forward to mayor and council for their approval for the Santa Cruz area plan to move from office to C2 zoning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, is Commissioner Martin coming back, or should I move on to the
I
next?
believe,
I'm back.
I believe
Kind of scary, huh?
I relinquish my duties to you, Commissioner Martin.
Thank you. You did a very nice job. The next item is item 4, PDSD staff announcements.
Good evening, honorable commissioners. This is Scott Clark, Director of PDSD. One of the things I'd like to initiate here is an annual recognition dinner, perhaps during the month of December. The way I've worked this before, it is a duly noticed meeting, but we usually take you to an offsite location and feed you, give out recognition for people who have served on a planning commission for, say, like a long time, like Mark has, and give them something nice to send them on their way. So I'd like you to give a little bit of thought to that. If that's something you'd like to do on an annual basis, it's worked well in other jurisdictions. People seem to appreciate it. And you are giving up at least 2 weeks or 2 nights of your month to come do this. And some of these hearings get contentious and take a lot of energy. So we appreciate that. So give that some thought. Let us know how you feel about it at the next meeting. And if that's a go, we'll start scheduling these things. In the meantime, we are going to get Mark a little something to show our appreciation. And I'll have that at the next meeting. And if we have to, I can drive by his house and drop it off, but we'd like to drag him back in the public comment period and give it to him.
Sounds good. No other staff announcements?
That's all I got.
Next item is item 5, future agenda items. The staff, please provide the commission a preview of upcoming items.
First, thank you, Chair Martin, Commission. So we have a few items coming up. We're currently working on commercial parking standards, some changes related to electric vehicles, kind of some reductions related to parklets and restaurants and bars. We will be bringing that to you for a study session in the new year. We are still looking at a date to bring the Planning Commission bylaws and go through and make some additional changes to those. And then we're looking at some more informational presentations, one related to housing affordability strategy for Tucson, the HASP program, which was just heard by Mayor and Council, as well as a Plan Tucson progress report and update to present to you. We look forward to doing so. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Next item is item number 6, sorry, call the audience. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to anything other than the public hearing tonight? Don't see anybody. See anybody, Daniel?
Chair Martin, I do not believe there's anybody other than staff and applicants who are currently in the audience.
Thank you. Well, that brings us to item number 7, adjournment. Before I call for motion, I'd like to thank everybody for their service this year. It's been interesting being on Zoom and look forward to meeting everybody. Like Mark said, we haven't been able to meet a lot of the commissioners in person. And I wanted to wish everybody a happy holidays and come back raring to go next year. So with that, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor say
Happy
aye.
holidays.
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Any opposed? Hearing none, I think we're adjourned. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.